Hi, my name is Olivia Weiss, and I decided to read for book number 2, The Truth About the Accident by Nicole Trope. So, here's the book. The Truth About the Accident by Nicole Trope is a thriller book about a hit-and-run incident nearly killing a man named Damon, who was a wealthy CEO of a large company in the center of multiple women's worlds. The chapters rotate from Marla, Sonia's, and Athena's perspectives, along with an unknown woman who we later find out is Nina. Marla, Damon's wife, and the mother of their 2 children, knew all about Damon's affairs and tried to confront him many times, but he just brushed her off. Sonia, Damon's therapist, and the mother of her son, Jasper, who also has Damon's DNA, tried to brush off the fact that Damon did not remember her after their one-night stand 13 years ago. Athena, a younger woman and a store owner, got trapped in Damon's charm and beauty as the other woman did and ended up with a baby boy in her womb. Marla, Sonia, and Athena, along with Nina, who plays a part later in the book, are all mad about how Damon acted like each one of them was disposable. Marla, aware of the two of the women Damon was seeing, decided to put a plan together with them. Sonia and Athena met Marla in a cafe, and Marla had a plan of confronting Damon while they are on a drive and having Athena and Sonia on the phone to back her up. The drive did not go as planned. Damon got mad and left the car while stopped at a red light. It was a rainy day and hard to see, so when the light turned green, Marla pushed the gas with anger and Damon went flying. Sonia, whose car was behind Marla's, saw this play out as Damon landed in front of her car. Built up with anger from the fact that Damon did not remember her, Sonia also pushed on the gas and let her car do the rest. Damon was in a coma for days, seriously injured but recovering. The detectives could not find the car that hit Damon because it was hard to see with all the rain. Marla was thankful he was alive and hoped he wouldn't remember anything after the hit. Nina, Marla's Botox specialist, also got caught up in the Damon spell and was left hurt and full of anger when she found out about the multiple other women he had in his rotation. Nina injected a syringe full of air into Damon's IV, ultimately finishing him off. The 4 women attended the funeral and said their goodbyes, hoping that they could let go of Damon and all the things that he did to them. Okay, so now on to what did I like about the book. One thing I liked about the book was how Nicole Trope wrote the first couple pages of the book, setting up the plot but not telling her readers exactly what had happened. What I mean by this is at the beginning of the book, in Marla's point of view, Marla is drinking wine at noon, reflecting on what had happened that morning to Damon. As a reader, I did not know what happened that morning and what Marla was reflecting on, but it set up the outline for the rest of the pages to fill in. Now that I've read the book, I come to understand that Marla is reflecting on her actions and how she nearly killed Damon. On page 14 it says, "Today was going to be the day of confrontation and discussion with her husband and his need to do a lot more than look at beautiful women. Today she was finally going to speak to Damon calmly and rationally and tell him and get him to admit what he had done. She was ready, but nothing has gone the way it should have gone." The way Nicole Trope foreshadowed what was going to happen later in the book confused me but also encouraged me to keep exploring what she had to say. This quote telling Marla's thoughts was a way to create suspicion on what she had done and then what had happened to Damon. I chose this as the one thing I liked about the book because it was something that stood out to me, something that was also confusing to me as I read it, but it helped fill in the gaps later on. Okay, so on to my favorite passages. So one of my favorite passages from the book is when the third person point of view is focusing on Sonia. Sonia, Damon's therapist, fell under Damon's charm a second time, but this time she texted Marla on Instagram about what had happened recently and what had happened 13 years ago. Sonia had a little bit too much to drink that night, but in a way she was glad she told Marla everything. Sonia felt put down by Damon and used, as every other woman who had fallen under Damon felt. Sonia thought to herself, on page 156, "People are not disposable, and Damon treated women like they were. Sonia was not disposable." Damon was a manipulative player to the women in his life, who he told he loved, to each and every one of them. Even though Damon did not deserve to die, he sure did deserve a lesson and corrections on how to become a better husband to Marla and to not have multiple women in his life. This is one of my favorite passages because it shows how strong Sonia is, raising a boy that Damon contributed to but took no part in, having a successful career, and trying to help out Marla. I loved how Sonia knows she is worth more than a man, and she is trying her best to get out of the sticky situation she is in. Okay, my second favorite passage is It takes the setting of the funeral. So Damon is now officially dead, and Athena, Sonia, and of course Marla are all at the funeral saying their goodbyes. Athena is a peaceful woman not wanting to cause any harm. Marla had given her and Sonia a generous amount of money from Damon's will, and Athena decided that that is enough and that the battle is over for her. She has come to terms that she would raise her child alone and possibly move to the tranquil mountains. As Athena is sitting there, observing Marla and her two children, standing in front of the crowd next to Damon in the casket, Athena thinks to herself on page 238, looking around the one more paragraph down. If Damon could see this, would he regret the things he has done, or would he look at all the people who have come to pay their respects and congratulate himself on a life well lived? Athena was confused how Damon could live with what he did and who he hurt mentally. To answer Athena's questions, I genuinely think that Damon would brush it all off and he would congratulate himself on the life he had lived. I think Damon was not self-aware and he made people confused. This is another one of my favorite quotes because Athena asked a question that all women Damon hurt were wondering. This passage gives the readers a question to think about and answer in their own heads, questioning the character Damon is. I also love this passage because I love Athena. She was my favorite character in the book, and because of her need for peace and flushing out the negativity. That's why I liked her. Okay, and last but not least, what did this book teach me? So this book taught me the main lesson of it is better to stick to yourself, stay out of sticky situations, and to be happy with the beautiful life you have. Do not seek for more than you are given just because you want more and more. This is mainly a direct statement to Damon due to the fact that he had multiple women and did keep seeking for more. Damon had 2 wonderful children with Marla, and she tried to keep it her best to keep it a happy family, but with Damon and the person that he was, the happy family was not in their bingo cards. Damon obviously will be missed by all the people he had connections with, but with Marla, Athena, Sonia, and Nina, a tiny part of them may have hoped for him to be gone. Hope for the mess that he brought along with him to be gone forever. For example, as Sonia sits on her couch reflecting on her meeting with Marla and Athena and the plan Marla had made at the coffee shop, she thinks to herself on page 178, and now he may die. He may die and take everything that had happened on Wednesday to his grave. And perhaps that's the best case scenario, the very best case scenario. For Sonia and the other woman, it was just easier in their opinions if he was gone for good, a weight lifted off their shoulders. It was easy to fall into Damon's charm and very hard to get out of it. We as humans like to tell ourselves that something really isn't even that bad until it gets really bad. What I mean by this is all the women thought, oh, it can't hurt when Damon asked them to dinner, but then one thing leads to another and you have yourself in a pickle. What this book taught me is to not even engage in activities that your gut tells you not to do. Stay out of those sticky situations and stick to yourself.